Should you be itemizing out your invoice that you send to customers? Hey there, Stefanie Hammond, Head Sales and Marketing Nerd at Enable. And this question isn't really a question, but more of an observation that I have based on a couple of MSP conversations that I've been having lately. Particularly, I was speaking with one partner the other day about how does he go about incorporating MDR, managed detection and response, into his tech stack and the cost structure around that. And he was really struggling with how does he present that the data retention piece to his customers, because he deals with clients that reside in the healthcare services space. And so obviously they fall under HIPAA. And one of the requirements of HIPAA is that organizations need to keep data records related to their privacy and security practices for a minimum of 6 years. And so for anyone that does use our Enable MDR and the data retention piece, there is kind of that small monthly fee that's associated with keeping records for this extended period of time. And so it's an additional expense over and above the MDR license cost. So even though I'm talking about MDR today, this training advice that I'm giving in this video today, it really can be applied to any new tech product, security tech product that you might want to be incorporating into your stack. But again, today I'm just talking about MDR and using that as an example. So this MSP was really struggling with, how does he get his customers to accept these 2 additional line items on their invoice? Because, one, they're going to have that new MDR line item, but now they're going to have that additional data retention piece for that HIPAA component. And so he was really struggling with how was he going to explain that to them? Because he knows that as soon as, that customer sees these 2 new line items on their invoice, they're going to start challenging him, on the relevance, on the cost. Are these products actually needed? Because obviously they don't want to see their invoice go up. So it really came down to a conversation around, how and what should MSPs be displaying on their invoices? In this particular instance, and again, it's not really the first time that I've had this conversation, the MSP itemizes their tech stack and each product's individual cost on the customer invoice. He charges per device, and then for each device, he outlines what products have been deployed on that device. And he does this because he prides himself on being open and transparent with his customers. And he says that his customers actually demand to see the cost breakdown on their invoice. So he really does want to accommodate that. But this is where I would really challenge that approach, and hence why I even wanted to do a video on this particular topic. And it's not so much to preach to MSPs about how they should be structuring their invoices to their clients, but it's more about getting MSPs to think critically about their rationale for wanting or needing to provide this type of cost breakdown to their customers. Why do they even feel that they need to do this in the first place? And please let me know what your approach is to this, especially if it differs from what I'm talking about today. If you feel that this cost breakdown methodology does work for you, please reach out and let's chat about this. But ideally, when you're dealing with the traditional managed services customer, where they don't have anybody internally looking after their IT, it's the whole reason why they're reaching out and outsourcing their IT management to you, right? So in this case, they don't know what they don't know, and they don't fully understand everything that is needed to keep the threat actors out of their network and their employees safe and their data safe. That's your job as their MSP. As their MSP, your job is to be the safeguarder of their data. As their MSP, your job is to be their productivity and business enabler to keep their employees working and productive. As their MSP, your job is to be their risk manager. You are their risk mitigation specialist. So you are much more keenly aware as to what is needed in your tech stack, what you have to do from a processes and procedures perspective to fulfill these role requirements than your average non-technical business owner. And, so I don't feel that you actually need to necessarily outline the different tool sets that you're using to accomplish this for them. You are selling the outcomes of a safe, secure network, productive employees, and that's the result of the monthly fee that you are charging. And so I feel that's all that your invoice should reflect. Instead of feeling the need to itemize the tech stack that you are using, for on each individual device, MSPs should instead be showing what their per user price is for, whatever program you have sold them, whether it's your advanced security program or your advanced program with maybe a HIPAA compliance piece, whatever name you've given it, that is what should only be appearing on your invoice. By charging on a per user basis versus charging on a per device basis and then outlining all the different products deployed on those devices, you're also then avoiding the customer from nitpicking your individual product costs and them second guessing your choices in the cybersecurity tool sets that you have built your whole security practice around. And you're also avoiding the customer basically giving your invoice to a competitor who can then clearly see what services you are delivering and the tech product costs that are associated with that. I tend to use the analogy of a bakery when I speak to MSPs about this topic. When I go into a boutique bakery to buy a cake, I'm buying a cake. When I get the invoice for the cake or the receipt, the bakery isn't going to list out all of the ingredients and the labor that went into making their cake. I'm not going to see a line item for flour and butter and sugar and vanilla. It's not as if I'm going to say to the bakery, oh my goodness, you used organic butter. I don't want a cake made with organic butter. Can you slide that cost out and just put in regular butter or maybe just use vegetable oil if that's cheaper? No, I'm buying a cake and the invoice is for the cost of the cake. Now, I know it's not a perfect analogy, but I do feel that it does work in this situation. You are providing a service to a business that can't perform this service themselves because they don't have the talent, the knowledge, the experience, the expertise. They don't have any of that in-house. So they need to rely on your team and your MSP for that expertise. And they're paying a monthly fee for that service. And in doing so, again, I don't feel that you need to itemize everything that goes into you delivering that service for them. Because again, you are selling the outcomes of that monthly fee: a safe, secure network, data safeguarding, productive employees, compliance management. So looking to see if you agree. Do you disagree with me on this? I'd be very interested in getting some MSP's thoughts on this topic. So if you do have any comments, feedback, questions, or any other questions that you'd like to have me address in an upcoming video, please don't hesitate to reach out either via email or send me a message on LinkedIn. All right, so thank you for listening. See you then. Bye.